And yes, hello there. I said I was going to show you my decks, so I will do that. I will probably just show you the decks because I've got them, and I was really lucky to find these 3 decks in a shop somewhere where I wasn't expecting anything of the kind at all, and they were at a really fair price. I paid 30 euros. I have no idea what that is at the moment in dollars. 32-ish, not that much of a difference. For 3 decks, the Russian Tarot of St. Petersburg and the Dutch version of the Lord of the Rings Tarot. This is pre-movie, and since we've been Lord of the Rings fans since as long as I can remember, this actually has a point for us. And very mysterious. This one was actually the cheapest. Tarot Cabalistico. It does have a booklet in 3 languages, so it's accessible also if you're an English speaker. And it's really going to be a nice pendant for me to the deck that I'm working on myself with the angel symbols that I've been talking to you about in the past week. So I mentioned just now it's going to be just my little second half of the video that I made out there in the park just now. My cards that I drew were from the Russian tarot, and what I've seen in the booklet that accompanies this, there's plenty of unboxings of this. I won't go into all that detail for this deck, but these are actually real size paintings, and I think that's a really interesting detail. So these are my cards that I talked about just now. 9 of discs sounds to me like regarding all our past history, I just have to think of this as value, and instead of only thinking of it as pain, which is what the 8 of Cups in the present moment certainly shows me, I'm thinking of it as pain, and I should also see it as value. And then in the future I get the Fool card, like I said just now. And what I think is interesting about this one is it actually shows the Fool. I'm going to go like this now, with a hand puppet of a little version of himself. So that sounds really nice. I like this. And okay, so I don't need to show you all these cards, but I thought it was really excellent that they are, life size. These are the sizes of the paintings, because the person who made the paintings, the artist is Yuri Sharkov. He was a miniature painter. So that's what he did. Queen of Swords, like so. They're pretty. You've seen this before, and it's a bit old school. I think it is actually the oldest of the 3 decks, published in 92, if I remember correctly. It is a US Games deck, and I paid 15 euros for this one, which I think still is a real steal. So I was looking for a deck for the winter time, because when you have lamps on, when you have less daylight in my part of the world, this will just be brilliant to work with. And it is also another thought I had. This is actually really easy also to, sling cards for other people. This is accessible, contrary to all the Kabbalistical stuff, or even the Lord of the Rings deck, or the Marielle that I love so much, or any of the other things that I've, gone out of my way. No, it wasn't going out of my way. That I felt connected to, and that I've, because I'm weird, I get connected to weird things, and then I can't share it with people. This I can share. And so I'm actually think of myself, getting cards on the table for people. Who knows? And at least I have a deck that I can actually use for other people. So that's great. The other one, the Lord of the Rings Tarot, that's a bit of it's a bit of a, I don't know, I tend to call that a gimmick. It's like a, it's not completely serious. I am already rather fond of mine. I also forgot to show you in my Petersburg tarot, I edged it in this kind of a purple brown mahogany color, if that's the right word, I think so. Using 2 markers. I still have to check it because maybe you can see it like this at the top. There are a couple of little bits where the purple marker slipped in to the into the deck, because what I did is I edged each card individually in the brown color, and then I went over like so, using about 10 or 15 cards or so. For the purple, I just went like that with the purple marker. And what happened is that that's when the ink gets, it kind of seeps in between the cards. However, here's the tip. I can use nail polish remover for, if you just wipe it off really quickly, because you shouldn't allow the remover, the acetone, to sit on the card any longer than is absolutely necessary. It will wipe off the excess marker really easily, and but you have to be quick about it and also careful. So don't overdose on the acetone. You don't need to. I think you can take off any type of marker that is in a place where you don't want it. Okay, so on to the next deck, my Lord of the Rings deck. As I said, both husband and I have been fans of the Lord of the Rings books and Tolkien's books, any of them, you know, all our lives, as long as we can remember. And I still think you have to, to like this deck, you have to like the books. Liking the movies, I think, is not enough. Because anyway, there's elements in here that aren't found in the movies. Like Tom Bombadil, for example, is in here. Of course, I won't be able to find him straight away. And this is this is just a very funny, quirky deck that has like a real 90s approach to computer design. See, that's Treebeard right there as the King of Pens. Yes, King of Pentacles. It's a Dutch translation, so that's, you get Dutch names here. It's a bit of a mind bender. You have to be willing to sit in the atmosphere of the books to some extent. And I edged this in green. This is actually an acrylic marker, and that works perfectly. So I've got these really huge, I haven't got them handy anymore because I stored them away, like big fat acrylic markers. So what comes out is really acrylic paint, diluted, and I use that for this edging job. And I'm fairly pleased with the result. It's not the most aesthetic, gorgeous presentation you've ever seen, but I still think there's quite a bit of intel in here, and I will have to find out how it is to use this. Okay, what have we got here? The 5 of Wands. I just picked it out because of the mushrooms. So I have always felt really at home in the Lord of the Rings atmosphere, the Hobbit atmosphere, particularly in the books. And I've always sort of, especially recently, seen that there's the movies and there's the books. And we watched the whole Lord of the Rings trilogy to the extent that we, you know, all the fighting, we tend to just fast forward very quickly because we just don't care about any of that. There's a limit really to how many orcs I want to see for how long. This is the Sun card. So it has the sun shining on the Shire where everything is in harmony. So that's kind of an interesting take on that. It's like merging or fusing the redistilling again the material from the stories and that world of Middle Earth, which was the result, those stories were the result of a long process of distilling, right? Again, letting that percolate through the tarot. And that kind of a process I find interesting. And I'm not even sure how often I will be using this. I will not necessarily be using this for very serious questioning, but then again, who knows? I won't be able to tell until, you know, we're further on in time. And I suppose it will very much depend on what I feel like doing, okay? Definitely, because you can't always, that's my egg. My egg is boiling. So I'm going to have my egg, and my third session, it is working, finally, everything's coming together. My third session will be an actual unboxing of this little guy. So see you then, okay? Thank you for watching once more. See you soon. Bye-bye.